So I've noticed this in my life when it comes to goal setting, things that you want, manifestations, events, convention coming up, is that when you move a little bit faster, there is less, it's almost like if there is less resistance and there's less obstacles, the more in flow you become and the more things kind of speed up. What's up, everybody? Can you hear me all right? Thumbs up. All right, amazing. Great to see you guys. Go ahead and pop a what's up in the chat. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling, what's new. Let's celebrate some wins. It's been a couple of weeks. We should all have some exciting wins to share. So go ahead and pop in your win that you're most stoked about in the last couple of weeks. It's been an absolute doozy in my world. Maybe I think we talked a little bit about it. I think let me know if I mentioned anything about buying a new house on the last call. I don't remember if I did or not. So yeah, that's all going full steam ahead, which is really, really exciting for our family. But it all happens so fast that it's incredible, really. And I talked about this a little bit. I don't know if you guys heard me on the call last week in GPM Base about the road to convention. We talked a little bit about this, and I think I wanted to really start off this call today sharing a few of these thoughts that I've been having recently. I've taken a little bit of a break from new podcast episodes that I'm going to be firing back up next week, just because I kind of felt like I was going through this evolutionary up leveling internally. Like I really felt like when my son was born, there was this initiation that took me some time to adjust to this new role. Because obviously, being a parent, being a father is a big deal, but being a parent or a father to a girl and being a parent and a father to a boy, a son, is different, in some ways. And so I've had to really look in the mirror around certain areas of myself that I've almost customized and catered to the feminine, my wife and my daughter, right? Like almost catering to them in certain ways that no longer is really going to make it's not going to work. I have to almost kind of come back to the centered middle ground where I can be both at the same time now that my son is also in the picture. So it's been an interesting time for me to sort of reflect, reevaluate what gets to stay, what gets to go. And it's been an amazing process. With that being said, my wife happens to find a new home and sort of casually put it on my plate. And because it was happening so fast, I'm a firm believer that when we move fast, when we move quick, it's almost like driving a car. If you're driving a car and you're going at a certain speed limit, uh, you have, I don't know if you've experienced this yourself driving. I love driving. I consider myself an elite level driver. It's just one of my strengths. But if I go on the highway and I drive like 140 kilometers an hour and everybody else is going 100 or 110, I can just kind of effortlessly go like this and sort of like pass people like pylons. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but it's not even unsafe. It's not like cutting between people that you shouldn't be, nothing like that. But because of that extra 30 kilometers or 30% speed, compared to everyone else, it's like things slow down even though you're going faster. I don't know if you've ever experienced what I'm talking about. But if you're going the same speed limit, everything feels harder. Oh, it's like frustrating. It's like, get out of my way. It's like, well, they can't get out of your way because you're moving at the same rhythm, the same speed. But if you go a little faster, all of a sudden everything is like slow motion and it's just so easy to weave in and out or whatever. So I've noticed this in my life when it comes to goal setting, things that you want, manifestations, events, convention coming up, is that when you move a little bit faster, there is less. It's almost like if there is less resistance and there's less obstacles, the more in flow you become and the more things kind of speed up. And so with this house, we have been manifesting and talking about leveling up in certain areas. for a while and we know what we wanted and so on and so on. So everything with this house was like had checked off all the boxes and everything we wanted and stuff, but it happened very, very fast. And so rather than me getting scared or having fear it wasn't going to work, I trusted that if we were going to go fast, things all had to click and connect and go with flow, or else it was a red flag that we probably shouldn't go ahead. Does this make sense? So it's like, as us going with a certain speed, I'm like, things just have to work out because there's so many things that all have to kind of line up. The ducks have to line up for this to move ahead because we have a house, we have to sell a house, we have to buy a house, we have lawyers and mortgage brokers and just a lot of different things all happening. And we have a very small window of time to do it. And so funny enough, as we kind of move forward at the steps, we made an offer, it got declined, and they countered us with like in a very small amount less than we offered. And we were like, so then we waited a few days before we made our next offer, and then they came back and lowered it by like a really large, substantial amount. So we're getting this house almost close to $1 million under asking, which is pretty wild. And so, anyways, the point is that because of that, it's all like, hey, there's another sign that this is meant to be. There's another sign this is meant to be. And then when we talked with realtors and different people, they're like, yeah, this is all actually perfect, and like you're in this great spot with your revenue. You know what I mean? So everything's coming back, like reinforcing it, like timing is right. It's a perfect thing, this and that. So I just wanted to kind of iterate that with you guys as well. Is sometimes we feel as if slowing down is the smart thing to do because you feel out of control. But actually, I disagree to a certain extent. I think that speeding up creates that excitement, that momentum, right? You've probably heard the expression success loves speed. And the reason why success loves speed is because you can't focus on the minutia that is irrelevant when you're going that fast, right? Like if you think about it, if you're driving a car at 140 kilometers an hour, you're not paying attention to the minutia in the vehicle that is going to take you away from being focused and safe and like getting to where you got to go. You just don't have time, right? You're like, I got to just be locked in. And I think that when we're talking about getting to a convention, building our businesses with leads and sales, most of us are going too slow. So we're dwelling on stuff too much. Like if we have a sales call and you have one sales call every couple of days, for 48 hours, you're remunerating on like what was said on that call. Like, what did I say? What did they say? What could I have said? What could they have said? Maybe I would have done this. You know what I mean? It's like so much time because you're going so slow. But if you had 10 calls, in 2 days, you'd be like, next call, next call, next call, get better, move quicker, move quicker. So all of a sudden it's like less of that is happening and you're just learning faster and integrating and evolving and up leveling at a quicker pace. So I think for most of you where you're at in your businesses, my guess, I don't know for sure because I'd have to analyze every single person, but my guess is that by just increasing your output and moving quicker and overcoming the dwelling on things much faster, whether it's content creation, sales calls, lead gen, DMs, any sort of the specifics in the business, you will actually notice that you're growing faster, you're creating momentum, your supply and demand in the marketplace increases. People want to actually be like, oh, you're going places. And if I don't jump on board and partner with you, you'll be gone. And I think a lot of you don't realize your equity in the market is so strong when you're moving faster. Is like, no, I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to make a decision. Like I'm already on to the next person, the next person, the next person. And whoever basically is ready to run is who I'm going to focus with. And this is happening in my personal life. So it's just, I thought there was some parallels that I thought would be valuable to share. And then the other thing is that when you're building this business, right, your goals and the things that you want to create are going to happen at a completely different timeline than you most likely are expecting. So you want to, be at a certain point every year, every 3 years, every 5 years. But what you'll actually realize is the things you're doing today are setting yourself up to be primed and in the right position in the next decade. And so for me, I was thinking about this. I'm like, I would be kicking myself if I wasn't prepared and ready for this opportunity, especially around like shifting homes and moving right now. But the fact that I'm ready to go, and it was just a matter of, is it right? Does it check the boxes? Does it go through all the due diligence and all the things that we need to make sure, inspections and all that? It feels really powerful to be like, this is something that I prepared for unknowingly so many years before. And we were operating with this live below our means for so many years, and that now that we're sort of like leveling up, we're still operating still way below our means, but it feels like we're not. Like, it's just such a weird way to explain it to you guys. So with this business model, you have this compounding effect that can take place. And you're investing in your team members, you're investing in these people that most of you are frustrated. They're moving too slow, right? You're like, man, why aren't they duplicating? Why aren't they selling? I could be so much further along if everybody just hit 3A, like I would be 6A. And there's this level of frustration. But what you're really doing is you're investing in people that are going to take time to develop and grow. And it all comes back to where they are getting started with you in the beginning. So I talk about this a lot, and this is something that has made more sense to me over the years. But if we look at it from a development of a child or a teenager or a young adult, right? Your business partners are in a similar development, but not in terms of growing up as a human, but in terms of sales, leadership, marketing, communication, advertising. These are all developmental skills in their own right. So if you get someone who's brand new, they're like a toddler, right? Toddler in these areas, and they have the right mindset. They're positive. They're willing to learn. If they fall over, they're willing to get back up. It's just like a child. You have some childs who throw a tantrum because, oh, I can't walk, and they get all pissed off and negative. I've seen it firsthand. And you get other kids that are smiling and they're like getting banged up and getting bruised and they don't care, and they try again, they try again, they try again. And then there's this massive like energetic release when they finally do it, right? Have you ever seen a child overcome something they couldn't do for a while and they finally do it, and it's pure joy and they're celebrating and they're running around and they almost throw themselves a little bit of a party, right? It's the coolest thing. My daughter's been doing this recently with like obstacle courses at the playground. She'll like see something she can't do it, and then one day, Dad, I did it, and then she's like does it 1,000 times, right? She's like, I can do it, and then just keeps doing it. So I think that we need to all realize in our businesses it's the same thing. Do you want to be focusing on helping toddlers in marketing, sales, leadership, communication, join your business, and then be willing to invest into their development over time as long as they show up, they do the work, they do their part, and you're okay with that? But you know that 3 years from now, 5 years from now, they will be a thriving young adult who moves out from home, doesn't need as much handholding, and they can generate you hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a year in sales. Or are you going to develop yourself to the point where now you're attractive enough to people that are already a young adult? They already have sales experience. They already are doing transferable things in other industries. And you're bringing them over, and all you're really doing is going like, you know how to do this. You're already experienced, but you don't have the business model. You don't have the systems. You don't have the community. Let's just plug you in and finesse the last 10 to 20% of you basically crushing it here. And then all of that developmental curve drastically decreases, and you look like a leader who duplicates faster just because you're getting people at a different part of their journey. Is that making sense for everybody? So what we're really doing is we're earning all of the grind, all of the hustle, all of the things that feel slow and grueling. What you're really doing is developing yourself to a place where you can increase the level that you can be recruiting at by changing the story and changing the language. Until you've earned that yourself, you have to continue to sell to someone who's at least 1 or 2 steps behind where you are right now. That's the bottom line. And that's where most of us are continuing to recruit, is this place where their arms reach away from where you used to be in the last 12 months. That's the sweet spot for everybody. So if you are still in the same place a year from now, and a year from now, and a year from now, then you'll continue to still market to that same person because you don't have the credibility or the experience to market to the next level up. Making sense? So as you start to make money like 5,000 per month, 10,000 per month, 20,000 per month, etc., consistently in your business, then all you got to do is like, I make 20K per month. I can now advertise to meet people making 10K per month because I have value in the gap of where I'm at. Now, what a lot of you will also find is there's this intrinsic side of this business that isn't talked about enough. And that's where so many people get stuck mentally, which is I cannot see myself selling this business or selling these products or selling this opportunity because I'm not making sales. Or how many times does that come up, right? It's like the most common thing in the world. But what you can sell is a feeling, you can sell an emotion, and you can sell a vision that does not require you to be selling, not require you to be making sales in order for it to still be profound and get sales. So, for example, a lot of you are knowingly choosing to suffer while you build this business. You're suffering through the part of the business that could be fun, that could be enjoyable if you knew that on the other side, one day you would look back on this time and be like, man, that was so fun just trying to figure this thing out. Because eventually you'll be done figuring it out. There will be a time in the future where that difficult season that's also fun if you internalize it that way, it becomes more of a, it's like, how do I put it? In my business, there was a time when I was trying to get a handful of direct sales each month just to kind of pay the bills and to feel like I was making progress. Now, my focus is on, are we doing 5,000 sales this month or 6,500 sales this month? It's 5,000 or 6,500. See how the problems in life are very different? But that was like, this is 12 years later from that same season. So now my challenges in how I run my business, how I add value, how I help you guys, how I lead all these communities is a different set of challenges, but it is not this like, if I do this, I make money. If I do this, I don't make money. It's not that. It's more about how can I add value to a place that already has tremendous value because of all the leaders and all the communities and all the things happening. And I'm almost policing things, which I don't like to do. There's all this shady stuff going on of people like trying to re-affiliate and offer special deals and like all this stuff. And it's like, ew, gross. But like, I don't want to really get involved with that, but it's also something that I kind of got to do. You know, it's kind of like the side of the business that isn't really fun, but it happens every once in a while. So where I'm getting at for you guys is when you're not making sales and you're suffering through the journey of growth because you're choosing it to be that way because you think that's how it's supposed to be, then what is your angle with your audience and your content and your ads when nobody sees you having fun? Why would I want to join you in business if you're miserable, suffering, not having fun, not making money? Is that attractive? Does that make me go like, woohoo, here's my money? Like, I want to pay you all this cash to just like hate my life because that's what you do. You hate your life. What the fuck? Backwards, right? But here's how you make the shift. Guys, this is the funnest time I've ever had. You know, it's fun for me to take a problem and a challenge in my life, do research, be surrounded with people who are crushing it and winning, having this positive reinforcement and encouragement, and like take a problem I had last week and all of a sudden I solved it this week. This is so much fun. You know, I feel like this personal development journey comes with challenges, but I'm really enjoying this. It's like I'm happy. I'm happy through this journey because I know that that happiness is something I need to tap into now, and it's going to be something I carry with me when I achieve my goals. So you're saying things like fun and happy, which are emotions, and we can all relate to emotions, right? I may not relate to your specific circumstances. I don't know what you're dealing with, but we can always tie in sales copy, we can always tie into emotion. So if you're happy, excited, adventurous, spontaneous, enjoying your life, these key things, and I'm not because I'm in a 9 to 5. I'm stuck in traffic. I'm in debt. I got all this stuff. Life is just kind of kicking the crap out of me. But you are showing me that pursuing my vision, pursuing my goals, pursuing my dreams, even before I make money, even before I make sales, is fun, makes you happy, fills you with purpose. Now I want to be a part of that. Now I want to know what it's about. This is making sense for you guys. So we can welcome people onto the path without having to be anywhere specifically on the path. It's like people are wandering around in the woods of life being like, oh, I don't know. I'm kind of lost, man. I don't know. I think I saw that tree last week. I don't know. Am I going in circles? What am I, what am I doing? And then you're like, check this path out. It's a long, windy path to freedom, to purpose, to fulfillment. And I'm on this path and you can join me. And it's so fun, man. It's so fun to grow. It's so fun to overcome things that were hard and now they're not hard anymore. And now there's the next obstacle and the next thing. But you got to really tap into this because if your frequency is suffering and pain and misery and like it's a drag and you don't want to and like oh another thing and all this shit that I see every day and then you put on this fake front, man, you're not going to get sales. But when you offer the solution of, like, think about it like this, guys. How does it feel for you when you're on a call like this today and then you finish the call? Like, do you feel lit up? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel positive? Do you feel like you can get after it? Do you feel like you can create the results you want? Like, you know what I mean? Is it uplifting? Is it a positive energy or is it a downer? Is it like, wah, 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 right? I hope it's the former. I hope it's positive. I hope that you get after it and so on. But it's not just this call, it's other things. When you go into GPM base and you scroll and see testimonials and wins, when you do other community calls, when you're part of other systems and platforms, when you connect with other like minded people, does that not all fill up your cup? Now, alternatively, people who are not in this community, a lot of them don't have that at all. That in and of itself is enough for people to join this business. Join this community, get access to this frequency, this vibration, this energy. This is making sense. Now, that's one big piece. The next big piece is around mindset, how you see the world, the philosophy that you choose to align with. A lot of us came from negative backgrounds, from our upbringing, childhood, lack, scarcity, the way money was managed in our household. Maybe there was disagreements in our parents' marriages or divorce or, this kind of stuff. A lot of toxic sort of negative shit. I know I can relate to that. Health, alcohol abuse, drugs, smoking, eating junk food. A lot of us experience seeing that as sort of like, this is how it is, right? Am I right? And how many of us have chosen on our own over the years to say, I don't want that. That's personal growth. That's evolution. That's like taking things that we saw and now we understand it a little differently and go like, I don't want to repeat that stuff. How many people out there not in this community are still following that exact same thing? Another massive selling point, right? And the whole thing with change your water, change your life is very interesting because you change your water as the first thing a lot of the time, not everybody. And then you start to feel better from the water and then you change the next thing. And then you change the next thing, and then you change the next thing, and you fast forward 5 years and you're like, I stopped drinking, I stopped this, I stopped that. It's like, but wait a second. I thought all you did was change your water 5 years ago. Yeah, it was the catalyst. But then after that catalyst was the community, was the leadership, was other examples. And there's a chain reaction. One person stops drinking and they share their story. The next person hears about that. Like, I've been meaning to. I haven't done it yet. But now that person did and that person did that. And they're all saying it's a good idea. Maybe I'll try it. Boom, you're next on the list. Now you stopped. Have we talked about sales at all here? Have I made any sales here? Nope. Emotionally improved. Mindset improved. Philosophy improved. Camaraderie, friendship, connection, community improved. Health improved. Change my water, boom. Change my diet, boom. Change my physique, boom. These are all selling things where you get access to this, like if it was a brotherhood or a sisterhood or a secret society or something like this, you get access to this through your investment into Enagic. It is the rite of passage. You need a product to get in. That's how this works. Do you think you can sell Enagic based on this? And these are all things you can control. That's where the whole daily method of operation comes in. Can you take yourself for a 45-minute nature walk every day? Whether you have a job, 3 jobs, yes, you can. Can you drink 3-4 liters of Kangen water every day? Yes, you can. You don't have to be a marketing genius to be able to do this. You don't have to develop crazy amounts of skills to do this. You just have to start taking ownership of your life, having integrity with your life, saying the things you're going to do with your life, and then talking about how that you are feeling better, more energy, better sleep, before and after pictures if you're into weight loss or like muscle, like muscle transformation, which is all a part of it. It's connected. And then now me pretending I'm on the outside of this, going to job, having the lunch break, coffee break, right? In the office, Everyone's nagging, talking about the election. This person got elected, this person, the taxes, the tariffs, the whining, the moaning, the eating fucking 12 donuts in like an hour and then like 3 pots of coffee. And you're looking at this going like, I don't I don't want any of this in my life. And then I log on to social media to escape my reality. And one of you who I follow is talking about, yeah, I just went to a health retreat mastermind with my community. I lost 10 pounds here. I'm drinking more water. I feel amazing about myself. It's so fun to build this business. I know it's going to take time, but it's okay because I'm breaking generations of curses. Huh. Coffee meeting, break shit, or I want me some of this. You guys getting it? So all of a sudden you have a completely different offer. And that's what this is. It's a different offer attached to things that you can control. And then the other pieces will fit on top. So then all of a sudden you'll get someone who reaches out to you and says, hey, I want to learn more. You seem like you're more positive, you're getting healthier, like all of these things that people want. They just don't know where to get started a lot of the times, or they're overwhelmed because there's all these things on the internet. And you start to demonstrate your leadership with self. You're leading yourself. So people start to go, if they can lead their self, they can probably help me out as well. Now it gets right back to your 6 to 12 months ahead of where this said person is when they contact you. And that's enough for you to be an authority and a leader to that individual. Just being a little bit further than where they are. That's all you need.